In this video, I want to talk about lane use signs, and these are these black and white signs with the arrows telling you what your lane is designed to do. In this particular intersection, the rightmost lane can only turn right, but the lane that we're in can go straight or take a right turn. So if you're in this lane, you want to make a right turn, you should be thinking, there's a lane beside me that needs to go somewhere. So would it make sense that as I make the turn here, would I go into that rightmost lane? No, right? I need to be at least one lane over because the vehicle beside me needs to have somewhere to go. So if we're turning together, we have to make sure that we stay in our own appropriate lane. Now, this is not something that you have to guess about. There will be usually tracking lines on the ground kind of guiding you through that intersection. So as we're coming out with the student here, and I try to bring students to this intersection in downtown Victoria as often as I can, depending on obviously how many lessons they've booked, because I want them to get exposure to this, that you shouldn't just be in autopilot mode thinking, oh, making a right turns only happen from the rightmost lane. Most of the time, but not always. I want to bring them awareness to these signs above their lane, right? Because sometimes students just look for traffic lights, but they don't look for signage above their lanes. And also the arrows on the ground are telling you the same thing. Now, because this lane can go straight and it can also turn right, we also need to be on the lookout for our typical fellow cyclists riding alongside us, because they might be wanting to go straight through this intersection. So as we're coming up here to make a right turn, we're doing a shoulder check to the right, and we can see that there's actually someone on a bike carrying some massive thing with them as well. And it's a good thing that we kept our vehicle straight until they passed by, because if we turn, we would be cutting them off. Now we've got these dotted white lines telling us where we should keep our vehicle as we make this turn. So you see, if I go back a bit, this dotted line connects to that. So if this lane, or line rather, is on the right side of my car, as I go to make this turn, that line needs to stay on the right side of my car. I can't halfway through the intersection decide to go into another lane, because if there's a car turning with me, I shouldn't be going into their lane and cutting them off. It can be dangerous. So as I'm coming in here, or the student actually is coming in here, I'm trying to tell them to keep our vehicle on the right side of this lane, and they're going, what are we talking about? And despite my best attempts to draw this out for them beforehand and explain to them where it is that we're planning on going, the very first time they come here, they get confused as to where they need to go. So as they make this turn, you can see we're kind of not staying on the right side of the dotted lines here. We're kind of shortcutting, cutting through it, in part because the students trying to figure out, where am I supposed to go into? And then when they turn, we're kind of in the middle of the two lanes, whereas we should have come in a bit more centered into this lane. So first time is always confusing, but then the second time we go around the block, they realize what's going on and they make this maneuver very nicely. So if you are living in Victoria, BC, that intersection was traveling west on Yates Street, and then we took a right turn on Douglas, and you find that multi-turn lane. At least for the time being. In a few years' time or a few months' time, they might change that altogether. You never know. But the takeaway there is, be present, look and see what the lane usage signs are telling you, and then try to look ahead and see where that tracking line is leading you. Where is that line, which side of your car that line is before you enter into the intersection, and try to keep that line on the same side of your car that it is as you're making that turn. I will see you in the next video.